Welcome everyone to week 5 of TGP1. We're here in the glorious Austria for round number 9 of TGP1. So it's fantastic to have you all here. Say Sports and I bringing you the live coverage of the event we've got with us tonight. So, don't know if you caught us last time out. I hope you did. We had 2 cracking races in which Matt won his 2nd race of the season. Fantastic result for him. And Softy picked up his first win of the season. Better late than never from the from the 2-time world champion even. So the championship standings, as we are at least, we have Jonas, who extended his lead at the top of the standings now to 20 points ahead of Odems. Odems will be keen to make up for that tonight. Then we have Paul in 3rd. Great season so far from him. Matt in 4th. Very unlucky in the round that we've just gone through. In Japan, he missed out. Well, it was very close, but there we go. Racing is racing, and game freezing, unfortunately, is one of those things that you have to put up with. Softcop is in 5th in the championship. Martin doing a good job in 6th. Phil Bargewell in 7th. He'll want to improve his season for the latter part. Reigning champion Jake down in 8th, and not with us tonight, worth mentioning. So he will not be able to improve on his season so far. Jamie down in 9th. He would have expected a lot more after the first few rounds, but it's down where he is. And James rounding out the top 10. And we have Renault, who are comfortably ahead in the constructors by nearly 100 points from Mercedes. So, obviously, now we've got 1 minute and 50 seconds left of this very wet qualifying session in which Matt so far has set the fastest time. The man in form at the moment, on an outlap at the moment, and hoping to improve his time more. Odems in 2nd, also on an outlap, and incidentally just behind Matt on track. Phil Bargewell is currently sat in 3rd place, so that's a good result from him so far. He'll want to improve, just about to start another lap. Softcop is in 4th, last time out's winner. Jonas down in 5th. He's going to want to make up a few positions and not lose as many points as he can to Odems, if Odems isn't going to get a result here. The high flyer in the championship at the moment, Paul McGuinness, after getting rid of his teammate. Softcop has gone fastest on a 15.9, the first man to break into that 15 mark. That's a great effort there from Softcop in the tricky conditions. Martin in 7th, Jack Pearson in 8th. James O'Connor running in 9th, and we see he's in the new team for this race. He's moved over to the Ferrari team. Jamie was quickest for a very short period of time before binning it going up the hill. So he rounds out the top 10. Then we have the likes of Alex, Dom, Owen, Chip Ellie and Red Bull Kim rounding out the orders so far. So let's have a look through the order then. Who's getting on a lap that we got so far? Who's getting close to the end? We've got Phil Bargewell just coming up and finishing the 2nd sector. What sort of time is he going to be doing through? He's done an 18.2 through sector 2, run a little bit wide through the long left-hander. Now coming up to these tricky last 2 corners. You don't want to run too wide at this one, but you've got to get the braking just about right. In these conditions, it's even worse. You've got a little bit off camber. Phil runs a little bit wide there, has to use a lot of the curb on the exit, bottoms out a little bit through this tricky last right-hander now, a little bit squirrely on the power. He will get another lap in. Is this going to be good enough to improve him in the order so far? Yes, it is. He moves up to 2nd, and the man from Middlesbrough puts it on the front row, but as we said, is going to get another lap. Matt is coming around the... Jonas goes 3rd in the meantime. Where's Matt going to go? Is he going to improve? He's been the first man to take the checker flag and does a 15.2. And that is definitely a warning to the rest of the field. Odems could only do a 15.5. Softcop couldn't improve on a 15.9, so he's going to be 3rd at best. So who have we got else out there? Martin has retired. He's going no quicker and parked it right on the apex. Paul McGuinness pops up into 3rd. Great lap from him. Who have we got coming towards the end of the lap? Jack Pearson, has gone 7th. Good qualifying from him so far. We've got James coming up to the final corner now. Is he going to be able to improve on 9th? The first race to him in Ferrari. James O'Connor up to the line, goes 5th. Good result from him. Just about breaks into that 15 mark. What about Phil? He's 2 tenths up on his personal best, and at the moment this could see him start 3rd. He's going to have to hold on to it for the last couple of corners though. The tricky right-hander, that was a lot better than it was in his last run. The last corner then gets it in a little bit sideways, but Phil Bargewell up the line. Where's he going to put his Red Bull? He goes 2nd. A phenomenal last sector from Phil. Sees him stick it on the front row to join Matt. And where's Jonas going to go? He can't improve. Down in 7th for the championship leader. Oh, a disaster for him. But it's Matt who takes another pole position. And in these tricky conditions, he'll be starting on the front row. So we have Phil also joining him then in second. Great qualifying for the Red Bull driver. Odems in third. He'll want to make as much points as possible. Back on Jonas after missing last week. Paul McGuinness in fourth. Good result from him. Softcop down in fifth. You would expect he probably could have done a little bit better than that. James, good effort from him in sixth. Jonas way down there in seventh. Not where the championship leader would have liked to have been. Jack Pearson, good result from him in eighth. Martin down in ninth. And Chiapelli rounding out the top 10. Then we have Jamie, Owen, Alex, Dom, and Kim rounding out proceedings. So as we head into the race, the first quick question we're going to have is it going to be wet or is it going to be dry? And Austria can always throw up a surprise when you skip through this little section. And we got a very sunny Austria today, which is nice to see. So thank you, the Austrian Hills. I'm sure many people have got their lederhosens on in the standings today, on the grandstands. I'd like to see. I've got mine on today. I'm supporting a nice orange lederhosen.
Rain towards the end of the race.
So the drivers just getting ready in their cars. Last little discussions with the team, and what sort of strategy they're going to be going for in this race. Obviously, all of them starting on fresh tyres, so we had the wet qualifying session. Be a bit pointless, the top 10 starting on the intermediates, although I imagine would make it a little bit more fun.
Yeah, let's go for it.
So then, the drivers are ready, the lights are ready. We have through 3, 4, 5 lights for round number 9 of TGP1 season 29, and there go, and we're underway in Austria. Matt gets a good start, immediately covers over Phil Bargewell on the run down to turn 1. Odems hasn't done the greatest start, can't make a move on Phil, but he's going to try it anyway, and they get a little bit closer, and Odems has actually spun. The man in second of the championship has spun, and Phil's got a great exit, and he's already looking up the inside of Matt, coming up the hill into turn 3. Turn 2, which isn't really a corner, but now making it to turn 3. Phil sticks it up the inside, gets on the curve, and Matt gets away with it. Softcop's up to third in the proceedings. Jonas has made his way up to 5th, and Odems is right down in 16th. Disastrous start for him. And James up to 6th. Jack Pearson's now climbing past James. There's a bit of a scrap there between the Red Bull driver, the Toro Rosso, and the Ferrari. Jack is holding it out for himself at the moment, but James is going to want to get past him again as soon as possible to minimise any damage, because he is running on, if I double check, he is on the super soft tyres, as is Paul, as is Jonas. We've got a yellow flag further back. I think Jamie has had a spin, has he? Yes, Jamie's had a spin. Jamie's off, he's off. Hey, Jamie's out.
Oh. I'm off.
Disaster. And could that see a safety car? He has had such a torrid season so far. Back at the front, Jonas is putting a move on Paul. And he's got past. Jack gets a little bit square in the background, which allows James back through. But the Mercedes man is having a disastrous season. He expected so much, and it's not working out for him so far. As James also makes a move on Paul. We've got these 3 drivers on the super soft tyres who are really going to want to keep in close contact to the 3 on ultra softs in front of them. So then, looking at the odds, Jack Pearson gets a little bit racy behind James. Is he going to make a move as soon as possible? He's going to want to, but is he going to be able to? Chiapelli up there in 8th. Good race so far from him. Owen in 9th, making up a few positions. Now Jack holding his own in 10th from Dom Smith, who's having a look up the inside, but not close enough to do anything. And then Odems has already made his way back up to 12th. Not a bad career from him. The 2 Williams are struggling in 13th and 14th. Martin, after we think maybe having a little incident with Jamie down in 15th, obviously the only retirement so far is Jamie Day, but Matt is streaking ahead at the front. Already got a 1.3 second gap to the Red Bull of Phil. He's on a mission. The late title charge is what he wants, and the way he's driving, hopefully that might be what he gets. Looking down the order now, Odems has made his way up to 11th, and Dom has dropped down to 12th, and Odems is now going to be looking to get past his teammate of Alex pretty swiftly. Up the inside into turn 3, laid on the brakes, and the Irishman makes his way through, but Alex is going to try and fight it back, but not quite close enough, and on the DRS as well, Odems has that chance to streak a little bit clear, as Jack Pearson, looking further up the order, is keeping James honest. And Owen is also keeping Chiapelli on. It's just a couple of attempts behind now. Is Owen going to have a look up the inside? He has a look, and is he going to be able to pull it off up the inside of the Sauber driver? The Isle of Man driver holds his own, and there's nearly contact, but they both get away with it. Chiapelli runs wide though, and Owen does make it through into 8th place.
It's going to rain, Mike.
And Great battle there. And we have a look further up the field now. It's Jack Pearson who's still very close to James O'Connor, but unfortunately James has DRS on his teammate at the moment. Oh no, it's Paul. James has got past Paul. Sorry, I missed that. Something's happened to Paul, and he's dropped down to 6th. Disaster for Paul, who's now being put under pressure from Jack on the ultra soft tyres. Is he going to have a look into turn 3? No, he doesn't, but he's going to be on the DRS on the next straight. And you have to say, Jack Pearson, very racy at the moment, is surely going to be able to put a move on the frailing Scotsman, who's not flying. He's frailing. Into turn 4, Jack's going to have to do it around the long way, and he holds on to his own. Paul's going to have to leave him space. Jack runs onto the curb and can't get it done. And Owen is been passed by Odems in the meantime as well, so Odems climbing his way back up the order, and is still 4 positions off Jonas, but on that softer compound tyre. We'll see him pit earlier, but we'll give him a little bit more speed in his first couple of stints, which is what he's going to want, having to get back through the field. Dom Smith still all over the back of Alex Coates, and Softcop is now just 3/10 off the back of Phil. I'm going to have a look into turn 1, is he? Not quite, but he's going to line him up into turn 2, surely. Softcop then, as we said, he had a bit of a slow start to the season, got his first win last time out, and he's going to want to put some pressure on the leading people in the championship, and he's going to want to do that as soon as possible. And with Odems and Jonas behind him at the moment, this is his best opportunity, and Phil is not going to want to let him through easily. On the run down to turn 4 now. This straight unfortunately isn't quite long enough for Softy to get close enough to put a move on yet, is he? No, not quite. Little lock up there from Softy. You want to have 2 more of those during the rest of the race. I tell you what, James O'Connor is closing in on Jonas. The championship leader might be under pressure from good friend James in a lap or so's time, I feel. Only 6/10 behind him.
Can't hear you. Alright.
The 11, 12, 13, Mike.
And I've just been told there's a great battle for 11th, and there is, between Jack, Smokey Jays and Dom Smith. Dom Smith, the leader of the trio right now, and Jack is all over the back of him. Is Alex Coates, the man from Somerset. Well, lives in Somerset at the moment. Softy pits. Maybe that lock-up was too much in the end. And Alex all over the back of Dom. And the Danishman of Soki's going to get past both of these as soon as possible. Alex has got the run, though, up to turn 1. On the DRS, surely he's going to have Dom Smith comfortably as they climb the hill, under brakes, and Alex Coates moves up into P10. Good move from Alex, but Dom is still there and is back alongside again. These two going wheel to wheel. Smokey doesn't really know where to look, where to go, or what to do, but Alex is getting pretty racy behind Dom. Dom defends the inside line, and of course Dom, a former winner here a few times in TGP2, one of his favourite tracks. Not enjoying it as much at the moment, with a pounding hass all over his arse. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2. I'm not sure what that's for. Oh, and Martin's had a spin. That's what that's for. Alex can't quite get the job done, and Smokey's going to want to get the job done on him quite soon, but not at the moment. This battle, well, I'm sure, will rage on throughout the race, and Softy, unfortunately, has come out behind these trio, so he's going to want to try and do something about it. Paul McGuinness, I don't know if he's been off the track. A little thing came up on my my screen, so I don't know what's happened to Paul. Chip Ellie having a lonely race as Dom Smith pits. And that's one less for Softcop to overtake, but he's going to want to do it as soon as possible. All these 3 have DRS. Softy's going to have a look at the inside of Smokey J. He's not close enough yet. Oh, is he? No, he is. Crikey, the camera cut to the wrong thing I didn't see. Softy all over the back of the Williams driver. He's going to want to get past him as soon as possible to minimise any damage he does to A, his tyres, and B, his chance of overtaking Phil all the way. Smokey has a look at the inside of Alex. A little bit of a lock-up. Smokey pushes him wide. Alex is on the curb, and they nearly spin, and Smokey has spun. And that got all very close. I don't really know who's to blame there. Sort of Smokey pushed Alex wide. Alex had nowhere to go, spun up himself, spun into Smokey and spun Smokey. So bit of a smoke screen scenario there, but it's Smokey who's come off worse. Now, how is everyone else doing? Paul's being put under pressure from Modems, who's using a lot of the curb on the inside there and makes a last-minute dash to the pits, as does Phil Barjo. He's also in the pits. Where are these two going to come out in relation to Softy? Phil leaves his box now. Softy is just coming up to the last corner. It's such a slow and long pit lane, this one. Phil gets on the gas. Softy is approaching the hill. I think Phil has done enough as he comes round the tight right-hander to exit the pits and does come out ahead of the Toro Rosso. So the gamble to iron undercuts Phil hasn't paid off, as Phil is now got to put up with Chiapelli and makes a last-minute lunge up the inside. That's going to get close. Luca puts his hand up. What are you doing, Phil? But Phil has made the move and minimalised the time wasted behind the Maxman, as Red Bull Kim further back has been put on soft tyres. I don't know if he's meant to do that, but he's on the soft. So Luca gets very close to the back of Phil there. Won't want to do that too often, or he could risk losing his front wing. And James is still hounding the back of Jono's Renault as Matt pits. Are we going to see one of these two pit? Not yet. Matt, who had a 7-second lead before coming into the pits, is going to want to come out in a nice little pocket of space. Odems has pitted and came out actually behind Alex, as Softcop now also gets past Chiapelli, as Chiapelli pits actually. So where's Phil? Phil is coming along the start-finish straight now as Matt exits the pits. And does he come out behind Owen? Yes, he does, but only just. And Phil now just 2.3 seconds off the net lead driver of Matt. So let's have a little run down then. Let's see who's pitted. So Matt's pitted, Phil's pitted, Softy's pitted, Odems has pitted, Smokey hasn't pitted. Luca's coming out of the pits and comes out behind his teammate. That's not ideal. Jack has pitted and breaks his front wing on the pit exit. Very easy to do here, but you do like an absolute tit if you do it, as Alex has well demonstrated. Thank you, Alex. So those are the drivers who have pitted so far. So we just have Jack Pearson holding elongating this stint on the Ultra Soft so as long as possible. He's done half race distance in these Ultra Trucks, so a good effort so far from Jack. Are we going to see him come to the pits? No, we're not. So he's keeping going as he spins. Oh, he's binned it. He's put it in the wall. And Jack Pearson has to spin round. Phil and Softy go through him. Jack, maybe he should have pitted. Maybe his tyres. And now he's got to do a whole lap with half a front wing and tyres who have had a spin. Zodem sets the fastest lap of the race, and he'll surely be on the back of Jack Pearson in no time at all. Disaster for Jack, but Matt is hounding Owen, and Matt is ahead of Owen. So that is crucial. Owen could have done a good job there to hold him up a little bit longer, but he has got DRS. Matt has to cover the inside line. Owen's not letting this go without a fight. I don't know why he's fighting it, because it's not his battle really, but I suppose he's trying to help his teammate out Phil, who's now just behind this pair. So Matt did lose a bit of time then, stop behind Owen, and that will help Phil out no end. And we've still got James and Jonas 2.5 seconds ahead of Paul, and just nose to tail. And we've got a yellow flag in sector 1, and that is Martin, who has put it in the wall. So disastrous race so far for the two Mercedes. And Owen pits to let Phil through. Martin has called it. He's had enough. We've got a yellow flag in sector 1 due to it. And Owen in the pits. And let's see where he comes out in relation to. Let's look out for Smokey, Dom, and Chiapelli. That's who he's fighting at the moment. As Chiapelli is just half a second off the back of his teammate, and the battle at Sauber resumes. As James has lost quite a bit of time on this lap to Johns. I don't know if he's made a mistake. Still within the DRS zone. But James won't want too many of those laps, or he will lose touch with the man from Harlow. And what we've got going on here, we've got Phil having to fend like crazy from Softy. Softy on the DRS, not close enough to make a move. The man from Middlesbrough has got to keep his eye on his mirrors to stop Softy from making his way into what would be a net second place at the moment, considering the top 3 are still yet to pit.
Luca's crashed.
Luca, over here, has crashed. Oh, disaster on the exit of turn 2. And James had picked this time to pit. Jonas didn't, James did. Slows it down in time. Well done, James. Did it this time. And where's that going to put him out? I think that should put him out in between Odems and Owen. Owen, interestingly, come out well ahead of, well, about 4 seconds ahead of Dom. But where's this going to put James in relation to Owen, who's come out to the last 2 corners now? I think Odems has got a faster lap of race, but yeah, James is comfortably ahead of Owen. Wow. What a great stint that was from James. Clean out the exit as well. And now attention will turn to John to see where he'll come out in relation. Softcop just 0.4 of a second off the back of Phil Bargewell. And is he going to make a move into turn 4? Is he close enough? He's 4.5 tenths back. Is this DRS going to be enough to get him close enough to make the move? Not quite. I wonder if Softy's running more wing, because he really didn't give him much time at all on Phil there. Or maybe Phil's just taking a load off. Let's see if John has pits, though. Coming towards the last couple of corners. He'll have to dive in very soon if he's going to. And I wonder if Paul will peel in as well. Jonas then, round the second to last corner, doesn't choose how to pit. Wow. Jonas is going long.
Staying up for rain, staying up for rain.
And I'm hearing that apparently, rather news to me, Chiapelli has to pit. Paul is also staying out for in case of rain. So these two could have pulled a masterstroke if it comes down. And Softcop is alongside Phil and pretty much pushing him into turn 1. These two getting closer and closer. They have to go past the stricken Sauber Chiapelli, who's struggling. Up to turn 3 is Softy going to be close enough to make a move. Chiapelli's almost close enough to make a move on Softy, and for some reason he is. That was a bit stupid. Luca, if you're here, which you're not, then don't do that. We're in the race. These Manxmen, eh?
Whoa.
Softy then, little look up on the inside right, as he did earlier on in the race. As I said, not going to want to do too much of those. And how long could Jonathan Paul's tyres last? Because Matt now is just 2.5 seconds off the back of this pair. Well, he's 6 seconds off the back of Jonas and 2 off of Paul. And they're both just staying out now. We're on to just starting lap 14. These tyres will be screaming in a minute to get them off. And I don't know how much longer they can hold on for. Paul now just 1.5 seconds clear of Matt, and Matt is putting in a great stint at the moment. Softy's still very close to the back of Phil, and in a minute they're going to have Odem for company. James has set the fastest lap of the race in the ultra soft tyres, but Softy's just isn't close enough to make a move on Phil. And it must be that he's just running a little bit more wing to get him that time in the middle sector, but it's not helping him through the parts where he needs it. Matt now less than a second off of Paul, and have these two just gambled too much. The clouds come in, the threat of rain is about to strike. Is it? Will it happen before the end of the race, or will it be afterwards? I'll tell you who's going to hope it will absolutely chuck it down in about a minute's time, and that's Paul and Jonas. Paul now just 4 tenths clear of Matt, who's so much quicker on those tyres, who of course were put on not very long ago, whereas Paul's is very second hand. And we're hearing from some of the drivers on the team radio, it has started to rain. Paul has to go defensive. Matt along the outside with the DRS, the fresher tyres. He's going to go around the outside into turn 1, and Matt sweeps into second place. And that is a crucial move if the rain gets heavier, but he's still got his teammate in front of him and would have to queue behind him at the moment, so that's not good news for Matt. But now with some clean air, and if the rain holds off or was not too strong, he might be able to clank gap enough, or maybe it won't rain hard enough at all. And is the gamble worth staying out on the slicks now? I mean, Jonas and Paul have got a pit, but with just 3.5 laps left, will the drivers that are currently on slicks just stay with it?
He's getting wetter.
And we're hearing on Paul McGuinness's team radio from his engineer there that it is getting heavier, starting to settle, but has it enough yet? None of the drivers seem to be struggling hugely. I mean, it's definitely greasy out there, but it's not. Jonas pits. Now, let's see what tyres he goes on to. I'd say it was too early for the inters, but he might as well gamble. Goes on the intermediate tyres. Now, he could have just handed this race to his team in, because if the rain does come in heavier, and but in a lap or so's time, and he can pit for inters, he doesn't have to queue behind his teammate all of a sudden. So Jonas down in 7th on the intermediate tyres, which at the moment are very much not the tyre to be on. Paul is going to have to pit, but what does he pit on to? Red Bull Kim has come back. Hi, Kim. And Softy is somehow still behind Phil, with Matt now a 2.5 second lead. This is where it could get interesting. How much is it going to rain? And if it rains, who will pit?
Tyres are still good.
As we're hearing on the team radio from Phil Bardwell, the tyres are still okay. Johners has already lost 3 seconds on this lap to the car in front. And in a minute, he's going to have Owen Quimby for company. Paul is staying out and is going to have to pit at the end of this lap, or he's going to get disqualified. Softy is now just a 10th off of Phil, who we just heard apparently the tyres are okay. But he's not okay because he's got Toro Rosso right up his chuff. And is Softy going to be able to make a move into turn 3? Again, he just doesn't seem to have the straight line speed, but might he go for it anyway? Not quite. He locks up a little bit, but he's going to have to rely on the DRS down the next straight. We've got a yellow flag into 2. And Softy then on the DRS. Is he going to be able to make a move on the man from Middlesbrough? Is he close enough? Not yet, as Owen Quim gets past Johners, who's really struggling on those intermediate tyres. We've just got a lap and a half to go now. Phil, is he going to be able to hold off a second? Will it rain enough that they... Well, there's definitely no point in pitting now. Paul's the only driver that's going to have to pit. But as we watch the battle for second, Softy climbs all over the curb on the entry to that corner, but it puts him right on Phil's tail. The two of them dancing through the last corner. Paul, as we said, has had to pit. Phil's going to have to go defensive, as Softy's got the run on him. Has he? Not quite. He just doesn't have that straight line speed to get a move on Phil yet. But Phil's gone a little bit wide, and Softy is right where he needs to be going into turn 3. Phil immediately covers the inside line. Softy's going to have to go for the outside. Softy almost has a look around the outside. There's nearly contact on the brakes, and Phil holds on to it for now. Tricky to get on the power here, but this is really going to be Softy's last chance into this next corner, and I don't think he's close enough unless he can be really brave on the brakes. I think Phil's done enough. He has a look. Phil has to cover it slightly, but Softy, I think, is going to have to settle for third. And in a minute, Johns could fall into the clutches of Dom Smith, and that would not go well for Johns. He's going to lose a load of points. But the man who has kept his nose clean has done exactly what he needed to do. He's been Matt. And for the 3rd time this season, it's going to take the checkered flag before anyone else. Matt then, through the last corner. He's held off his teammate's threat. He's held off the threat of rain to win in Austria. Matt wins. Phil is going to come home second, but they're almost side by side across the line, and it was just a 10th who separated Phil with Softy in the end. Odem's comes home 4th, a great recovery from him after facing the wrong way at turn 1. James comes home in 5th. Paul McGuinness is going to come home in 6th. He put the ultra soft tyres on for the last lap and nearly spins, coming out the second to the last corner. But Paul will hold on to 6th. Owen is going to come home 7th. Johners made a gamble. He might as well have, but it didn't work. And he, the championship leader, comes home in 8th. Dom Smith will be 9th. Smokey J's good recovery from him as well after his spin will be 10th. Jack Pearson, disastrous from him. He was hopefully also gambling on rain and is slowed down coming into the last 2 corners. Has he got a problem? Is he waiting for Alex? Here comes Alex. The chat sped up? No, they're crossing the line in formation. Right, okay. Thanks for that, guys.
And now it starts raining properly. Oh, well.
Yeah, it's wet enough for winters now.
So then, your winning driver, your top 3 finishers. Where is he? Oh, I've just got a black screen at the moment. He's not there. There he is. Matt wins. Phil second. Softy third. Great result for him. And that just extends Renault's lead. Does it? Probably. At the top of the constructors. It puts him within touching distance of challenging the top 2 now. As the champagne is sprayed, the rain is mixed in, and the emotions are high for the top 3 drivers. All 3 of them drove very well and deserve a quick drink at the end of the race. So let's have a rundown of the order then. Matt finishes in 1st from pole. Phil Bardwell in 2nd. Softy finished in 3rd, rounding out the podium. Odem's good recovery from him, as we said, backwards to turn 1 in 4th. James, good result for him in 5th. Paul McGuinness in 6th. Owen made up 5 places. Good result from him in 7th. Johners, 8th. He will not be happy with that. Dom Smith, great race from Dom to come home 9th. Smokey J's in 10th. Jack Pearson, 11th. He'll be disappointed with that. Alex came home 12th. 13th for Chiapelli. Then we had the other Williams of Red Bull Kim in 14th. Martin, a retirement in 15th. And the man who was out on lap 1, Jamie Day, rounds out the order.
Okay, wait.
Hello, it's over to your commentary team of Michael Noon of Devonshire. Thank you very much, Paul McGuinness. Great effort there. So, welcome to round number 10 of TGP1 season 29. What a season it's been as we now reach the halfway point, and we all would like to see another second half even of this. It's even me see. That's been similar to the first half at least. So, last time out we had a great win for Matt in the Renault, with Phil just about holding on to second place from Softcop coming home in third. And it was a good drive from Odem's recovery to come home in fourth place. That result, however, leaves Matt well in the championship fight. Less than a race win now off the top spot of Johners, with Odem's obviously still biting at his heels to get back to that top spot. Johners tried a risky strategy. It could have worked if the rain came, but the rain didn't come, so it didn't work. And Johners ended up way down in 8th place last time around. So, now we're at the home of motorsport, apparently. The home of British motorsport. I can just about vouch for that. And we've got the next instalment of a fantastic season ahead of us here. So, let's give you a rundown of the order so far, with 4 and a bit minutes left to go. So, Softy currently on pole by less than tenth of a second, less than half a tenth of a second even, from Odem's in second place. Then we have Phil at the moment in third. Good result last time out for him. He'll want to improve on that, will he? I think he will. Knowing Phil, I reckon he'll want to. Then at the moment we have Matt in fourth place. Jamie in fifth, goes rail round here, so well worth watching him on this second run in qualifying. Paul in sixth. Johners down in 7th. Poor first lap from him, he said over the team radio. Oh, interesting enough there, Jamie and Paul have set exactly the same lap times. So that's very interesting to go by. Owen in 8th. James down in 9th. He had a good race last time out. We want to improve that quite quickly. Jack Pearson in 10th. Smokey Jays in 11th. Chiapelli in 12th. Don Smith 13th. And Alex rounding out the order at the moment. So the drivers just coming out, just about to get ready for their next laps and their last runs before we head into the race. So it's a bright sunny day here in the UK, which must mean we're not actually in the UK, because it never actually is sunny in the UK. So this is actually just fake. This doesn't actually exist. It will rain in a second, almost. And I'm not sure what the weather forecast is for it. Does anyone know what the weather like for the race?
Dry race, Mike.
I think
Dry race.
constant dry.
Dry race? Wow, 2 dry days in Britain. Never happens. So, Odem's warming his tyres, then just about to start his next run. We'll be looking to gain the smallest margins he needs to get in front of the Taros of Softy, stop him from getting his second pole in 3 races, I think. He was pole in 2 races ago. I can't remember now. He won it, nonetheless, but I can't remember if he got pole. So, Phil then starting a lap. Who else have we got there out beginning a lap? As we said, Odem's just starting one as well. Jamie, is he on the lap? And he's going to run an out lap. Let's follow him anyway. Jamie then. We've got a yellow flag in sector 1. Not sure who that's for. That is for someone. Jamie then. He's just finishing up in sector 2. What sort of sector 2 time is he going to do? 27.9 through the second split for Jamie. The Mercedes driver is going to want to get the season back on form. It's his first start for him. Has not been anywhere near what he would have wanted. He's going to want to have a lot better second half of the season. Jamie then into this tricky chicane. The quick left into the right now. You've got to be so careful on the power. The track goes right anyway and up to the line. Jamie, is he going to improve on his time? He does. He does 27.6, which puts him 3/10 off of pole, and that's it for his qualifying as he slowed down. So that's Jamie's session done. And what sort of time is Phil doing? He's just coming up to sector 2 now. He's at a 27.6. I think the yellow flag actually might have been Odem's, because he's now behind Phil on track. But Phil then, anyway, coming up to the last couple of corners. Where's this going to put him? his latest run. Is it going to move him up from third? He needs to find 3 attempts to be within a chance. Round the last corner then, the man from Middlesbrough doesn't improve by 600ths. He couldn't improve, and he's slowed down as well, so that's Phil Bardwell's qualifying done. Odems comes across the line now, and yes, didn't improve. Actually, it was just 1,000th of a second off his personal best, so maybe he didn't go off after all. Softy, he is just coming through the last couple of corners now. He is on an outlap, so just about to start his last run. Matt has just started his last run. Paul is coming through sector 1 at the moment. Jonas, however,
It's no good. It's no fucking good.
You're hearing on the team radio, a little bit explicit, but Jonas is saying his lap's no good. Is he going to get time for another one? It's going to be very touch and go.
No.
He might be the first man to make it across the line, but Jonas is not going to improve, and the championship leader is going to start 7th at best.
Sake.
Disaster. Jack Pearson is going to be 9th. Alex is going no better than 14th. Who have we got towards the end of the lap at the moment? No one.
Useless.
Actually, I think Paul is the closest man to the end. No, he's not. It's Odems. Right, let's see Odems then. He's a 10th up on his personal best at the moment, and we don't know if Softy's going any better, but Odems is. Coming up now, he runs a little bit wide, but it doesn't really matter. Coming up now to the last 3 corners. On the left, tricky right, and then up to the line then. Is the Haas driver going to go any faster? Yes, he is. 4/10 of a second. And he's right where he needs to be. Paul ends up 3rd. Great qualifying from Paul. Where's Matt going to go? Matt now, just around the last couple of corners. Is he going to improve on 6th? He goes 3rd. So a good qualifying here. And Owen, interestingly, as well. Softy improved, but not enough. He's going to be 2nd. So it's Odems who takes another pole position. And Jonas is down in 9th. After James and Owen both improved, the championship leader is barely inside the top 10. As we just wait now for Dom Smith, who aborts his lap. Dom's going no quicker. He's going to be on the back row. And it's another time that he's been out-qualified by his teammate by 1.1 seconds as well. Really poor session from Dom. Dom, what happened there?
I don't know. I had 3 laps, I think, in total, but every lap I kept making a mistake at a crucial moment. So, unfortunately, P13 it is.
Disaster. Well, we've got a minute until we wrap up qualifying, so let's have a chat with some of the drivers. Jonas, what happened to your session?
Just messed up both laps. Just didn't get it together at all.
And what sort of damage do you reckon you can do from 9th? You've got a lot of quick drivers
Absolutely
in front of you, and obviously the main players you have in the championship are starting 1st and 3rd. Do you see yourself being able to climb up that high?
No.
Full of confidence. Thanks, John. Well, it's going to be another interesting race, and it's good to see Softy up there as well, enjoying a return to form. And on the subject of Softy, you got 20 seconds, mate. How do you think that went?
I'd say pretty well, really. I mean, okay, yes, Odems is on pole, but we all know he's about 1,000 years ahead of everyone. But again, my aim is to improve week on week, and a podium last race, and hopefully a podium or maybe better with a good qualifying position next week, or this race, should I say?
Fantastic. That's great. Great to hear, Softy. Right, let's give you a rundown of the order then. So Odems, another pole position for the Haas driver, 3.5 tenths clear of Softy, joining him on the front row. Last time out race runner Matt will start in 3rd. Good result for him in the Renault. Paul is 4th. Another great qualifying from him, the Ferrari. Phil down in 5th. Not the best qualifying for him, but it's in place to do some damage in the race. Jamie down in 6th. He would have wanted to go a little bit higher than that, surely. James in 7th. Then we got Owen in 8th. Jonas, the championship leader, way down in 9th place. Jack Pearson in 10th. Then we got Chiapelli, Smokey Jays, Dom Smith, and Alex rounding out your qualifying order.
Well done, Adams. Good lap.
So, as we make our way to race day, apparently no rain given for the forecast, so it's just a straight out. Lights the flag with a little bit of skip in the middle. And we'll see how the drivers tackle the challenging Silverstone circuit.
Very cloudy.
It is very cloudy.
And we've got Paul McGuinness there from the Met Office giving us an idea of the weather. Looks out. Very cloudy. Thank you, Paul. So as the drivers get strapped in, go to the toilet, have a drink, chat to their engineer, maybe flirt with a few of the grid girls. Oh, no, sorry, they're not there anymore. Grid children. Oh, no, that's even worse. The sponsors that are there. So they would now get into their car. Let's focus on the racing. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5 lights in Great Britain. And it's lights out and underway we are. And Odems gets a good start. Softy, a lot of wheel spin. Nearly hits into Matt. Not a good start from him. Odems has to cover him off. Matt is challenging. We've got some cars running around in the background. Softy all over the back of Odems. We've got a car off in the background. I think that's Jack Pearson. And Odems has had a disastrous start. Softy's gone wide. Odems is down to 4th, 5th. And I don't know if he's got some damage there as well. Paul McGuinness up to 3rd. We've got a yellow flag in sector 1. Someone's gone off further back. I think that might have been Jack Pearson. He is off. And Matt then challenging Softy for the lead. Paul's all over the back of it as well in his special helmet as Matt takes the lead. And Phil's having a look up the inside of Softy as well now. Softy pushes him wide coming through Brookfield. We've got Odems on the grass. And Matt has already got a little bit of an advantage. And that was a disastrous start for Odems, who's already down to 5th and being put under pressure by Jamie. We've got Jonas in the background, who's fallen behind Chiapelli. He's also had a not great start. So, the big winner is Matt, but he's gone wide. Something's happened to Matt. Jack and Alex has left, and Softy's now leading. What happened to Matt? I don't know if he ran wide. I don't know what happened.
He did.
But now Softy takes the lead, and he said he wanted to improve race by race. And despite a poor start with a lot of wheel spin, finds himself in the lead coming towards the end of that one as Phil's being put under pressure by Paul. Paul having a little look up the inside, can't get it done as Odems is being put under pressure by Jamie, not being put under pressure. He's been overtaken by Jamie and now Owen and now surely Jonas. Odems is falling back and surely has damage from the lap 1 collision. So, Odems then disastrous start down in 8th. Matt's going to want to retake the lead as soon as possible as Phil has found himself in 3rd and his top 4 have a gap now down to Jamie, who's going to want to catch these 4 as quick as possible. And as John is having a look at the inside of Owen there, John is still down in 7th. Not the greatest of starts from him. Now make that 6th. Oh no, 7th again as Owen still keeps the advantage. Oh no, they come off into the wall. Jonas is round, Owen is round. Owen's without a front wing. Jonas has got half of his, and a disastrous incident has left them both with egg on their face. As Owen and Jonas now make their way back to the pits now. Surely, I don't know if Jonas will pit.
He squeezed me off the circuit. He fucking squeezed me.
Here on the team radio there, John is not happy, and the 2 Saubers are apparently side by side. They are very close on track with Dom, has somehow got ahead of Chiapelli.
3 Maggots and Beckett, side by side, all of it.
And we're here and they're having a great race, but will Jonas pit, or is he going to stay out with a damaged front wing? Softy sets the fastest lap and already has nearly a 2nd advantage to Matt. Going to want to extend that as soon as possible to break the DRS. Jonas does pit, as does, of course, Owen. So disastrous
championship over
for both of these 2 drivers. Self-destruct happened with them there. Matt, interestingly enough, has got the DRS. Will keep him within touching distance down the straights, as we know the Softy, from the last race at least, does seem to prefer running a little bit more wing. Nailjacker, I don't think is even here. He's managed to make his way up to 11th, so good effort by Alex's AI then. As Matt just 7/10 of a second off of Softy. Phil has got Paul for company and soon going to have Jamie for company. As Odems back up to 6th thanks to Owen and John's incident. And still losing time unfortunately though. Now got James all over his back. I say all over his back, just 0.3 of a second off. And is James going to be close enough to have a look down into Stowe. Or is that Cobbs? One or the other. James then on the DRS, getting closer to the Haas driver, but not close enough to make a move. The gap now 2 tenths between those two drivers. Paul just half a second off of Phil, with Jamie 1.1 behind him. Matt sets the fastest lap of the race and it's just 6 tenths off of Softy. He's coming for you, Softy. He's not hanging around. He wants his lead back.
Oh, lost it.
Softy struggling a little bit with the rear tyres. And again, coming out that corner, he's making himself very vulnerable to the Renault driver. Is Matt going to be close enough to make a move? He's closing. He is closing. Is he close enough? Not yet, although he has a little look. Softy closes the door. And not there. He's coming through Brookfield now onto what used to be the start-finish straight. Matt just half a second off the back of the Toro Rosso driver. Into Copse. There you go.
Oh my god, the oversteer.
Softy struggling really with those rear tyres. We know that Silverstone is notorious for its tyre wear, but are we seeing some issues already? Wouldn't that be a spanner in the works? Matt now just half a second off. Is he going to be close enough along the Hangar Straight? And into Stowe. Is he going to be able to make a move? I don't think he's close enough yet. You'll have to wait. Maybe save it for the Wellington Straight. Maybe he'll have a go into the boot. Softy pits. Softy comes into the pits. Maybe he was struggling on the tyres. It's very early stop for him. And he's going to want to minimalise. Oh, and Odem's got a penalty. Odem's pitted as well, but has picked up a 5-second stop and go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Disaster for... It's going horribly wrong for the two that were leading the championship coming into this race, and they're both having a nightmare. This is going to hand it on a plate to Matt at the moment if he can jump Softy in the stops. As they do change Odem's front wing, and it's not really a surprise. Number 69 goes on, and off he goes back onto the track. And where's he going to come out in relation to Jonas, who's coming down the Hangar Straight at the moment, having just got past Alex? Jack Pearson also pitted while we were there, and Odem's going to be comfortably ahead of Jonas. Wow.
Well, if I'm lucky, I might finish 9th because I've lost like a good half minute.
He is, as Jack has come out. Is he going to be
That's
ahead of
not even
Smokey?
me, that's
Yes, he is. So, Jonas then finding himself down the order. And are we going to see Matt Pitt coming onto the Hangar Straight? He's got 1.3 second gap to fill. Are we going to see the Renault driver peel into the box? And tell you what, Jamie's just 3 tenths of a second off Paul. Is he close enough to have a move into Stowe? Not quite yet. Paul with his tribute helmet to Ayrton Senna. Fortunately, 24 years since we lost the Brazilian, and Matt Pitts, as does Paul, as does Jamie.
Oh, just couldn't slow down.
And all three of them just about getting it stopped. Where's Softy? Softy at the moment is just coming onto the Hangar Straight, so about 30 seconds away.
Holy crap.
Into Stowe then. How are the others getting on? Matt is just pulling into his box now.
Oh, what?
And Softy is just coming into the left-hander before the double right. He's got a little bit of understeer coming out there though. Jamie's jumped Paul in the stops. Disastrous for the Ferrari driver. Softy now onto the main straight. Where's Matt? He's just coming to the end of the pit lane line. This is going to be so close. Softy through turn 1 into turn 2, and he's done it. Not by much, but by enough.
Are you joking me, bloody Ferrari?
Smokey Joseph's Jack's crash coming into the pits.
We're hearing Jack Pearson's crash coming into the pits.
You see the crash coming into the pits where he's collided with Smokey.
Oh dear.
Guess he's pitting.
Oh, and he's not even pitting. What's this car doing? Jack Pearson's out.
Please be a
That's
safety
what's
car,
happened.
please.
And are we going to see a
I
safety
beg.
car? That would really help Jonas. And we go back to the attention for the battle for the net lead. Matt just 8 tenths behind Softy. Jamie. And let's see what happens to Phil now. If Phil does choose this time to pit.
Phil's going to jump the
That's a
lead for the
virtual safety
VSC.
car.
Phil's going to win the race.
off.
Cheers, Jack.
Phil, as we see Softy now just coming onto the Hangar Straight, obviously limited in speed, and Phil Bargewell has pitted at the right time. James also pitted at the right time, but has ended up with a penalty again. What is wrong with James? Come on, man. God. Disaster for Ferrari. And Phil coming down the pit straight now. Softy is only just coming to the chicane. And Phil is already at the pit lane exit line.
What?
This has worked brilliantly for
Let's
the
go,
Red
team.
Bull driver, who's now exiting the pits as Softy and Matt come onto the pit straight, and Phil is well in the lead.
Well, it's ending.
And the search for safety car is ending, and Phil has got a comfortable, I'd say about 4 or 5 second lead, and we're back racing again. Matt's just half a second off the back of Softy, as Paul has as Phil even has a 5 second lead.
Oh, Jackson's
Is Matt going to be able to make a move on Softy? He's going to need to sooner rather than later in order to catch Phil, but he's not close enough yet. Jamie is still in 4th. Paul is dropping back a little bit from the Mercedes driver. Odems is in 7th, but as we know has that 5 second penalty, as does James, who's just ahead of him. Dom Smith has made it up to 8th. Great result for Dom. Fantastic. Well done, Dom.
Cheers, mate.
Chip Helly is somehow down at 11th. Don't know what happened to him. As the battle for second resumes, going into maggots, beggots, faggots, and swaggots before the hanger straight. Will Matt be close enough to make a move? He's half a second behind the Toro Rosso driver. I don't think he is close enough. It's during this first sector where it's a third and first sector where Matt's quick enough. So that clearly means that Softy is running more wing, allowing him to give him the advantage he needs coming to the hanger straight. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2 and Smokey J's is out. Big crash for the Williams driver. Will that be another virtual safety car?
Or safety car.
Even a safety car. Thank you, Dom Smith, nicking my line. Twat. Into Abbey then. Onto the section that was added in 2010. Matt just 7/10 behind the Toro Rosso driver. And you have to say, not close enough yet. Odem sets the fastest lap of the race down in 7th. Jonas has made his way up to 9th, but still 11 seconds off of Dom. Matt with the DRS, but not close enough. Into the Brookfield section. Fans get a great glimpse of the cars coming through this section here. And coming on then to the old pit straight towards Cops.
James and Odems, 5th and 6th.
James and Odems, there's 5 temps separating them. Maybe that's 3 temps separating them. As Odems is on his recovery drive, trying to make his way back through the field. And will want to disperse of the Ferrari as soon as possible. It's so great watching those cars go through Stowe. Cops even. God. It's right on the limit. I tell you what, at the moment we've got a Softy catching Phil. We're gonna have to keep an eye on that as the race progresses. Softy is on a mad one. And Matt is falling out of DRS range, and he's going to want to eliminate that sooner rather than later to avoid missing out on a chance at 2nd place. Phil is where he needs to be, and with 5 laps to go, will want to keep it there for as long as possible. Paul has now dropped off the back of Jamie, but I tell you who hasn't dropped off the back of James, and that's Odems. Just 2.5 tenths separate them now. Is Odems going to try a sneaky move into turn 3? He's close enough to. James doesn't defend it, and Odems goes for it, and there's contact, and they're round, and Odems faces the wrong way. Maybe got a little bit too greedy. Maybe thought about it. James comes away okay, but Odems will have to hang his head in shame. You have to say the move was on. He was close enough, but he just didn't execute it well enough. A little too late on the brakes, and he slammed into the side of the Ferrari, both of them losing time to the top 5. So disastrous there for the man trying to close the gap to Jonas in the title race. At the moment he's only getting 2 points on him, and the man who's making big inroads is Matt, but not as much as he would have wanted to, in 3rd place. Still got DRS on the Toro Rosso in front of him. And I'll tell you what, further down we've got Owen, just 2 tenths of a second off of Chiapelli. Is he going to make a move into Cops? No, he doesn't. The Red Bull driver almost changing gear for the Sauber as they head through maggots and faggots. Owen then is going to want to get as clean a run as possible onto the hanger straight. Gets a little bit on the grass, but as does Chiapelli. On the DRS now. Is Owen close enough to make a move? I don't think he is. Red Bull just doesn't seem to have that ultimate top speed to get him close enough to put any pressure on the Sauber driver. So we've still got Matt 0.8 of a second off of Softy, both of them catching Phil, but not quick enough to worry Phil. As the gap is 4.3 seconds at the front, and Matt 0.7 of a second back from Softy. Jamie a further 5 seconds back from that pull, really dropped us now 3 seconds behind Jamie. James, after that contact with Odems, is 9 seconds off the back of his teammate. I mean, the good news is it doesn't appear it doesn't look like Odems does have front wing damage from the incident, so hopefully he can reel in the Ferrari pretty swiftly to make it a little bit interesting, as the race seems to be in a little bit of a calm down stage now. So we'll try and have some words with some drivers, and I know one driver would particularly not want me to contact him right now because he's just lost a chunk of time to his closest challenger. Phil, you're leading.
Yes.
And you're doing a good job. You lost a little time to Softy there, but do you see yourself out? Odems has crashed. And the Haas driver is out of the race. Odems,
He
what
lost the back
happened?
end after Maggots and Beckett's, and then just spun off into the wall and smashed his front right tyre off.
We're trying to get team radio, but we can't seem to connect. As Odems, his front left tyre hanging off its rims, and the Haas driver has made a big boo-boo.
Right in front of Mr. Dog.
Oh dear.
Odems, what happened?
Still trying to get a hold of Odems. I hope he's okay. His pride isn't. But the Irishman will be kicking himself for that error. And we'll have to wait to hear from him in the pen later on. Matt now, just 6 attempts, maybe spurring on a little bit. I don't think he's driven past the Odems crash now, but I'm sure the team's been on the radio saying, we can get some more points here. Let's get this done. Let's get past Softcop. Where's he going to be able to, though? He's still 8 tenths a second. Although he's getting DRS every lap, he just never is close enough. It's just not quite working out for him yet. Softy is using his pace when he has to. And these two are still closing in on Phil. And I reckon Phil orchestrated that crash for Odems just so we didn't have to talk to him.
Let's go back to Phil then.
Some suspicious behaviour. And Owen is still just 4 attempts off the back of Chiapelli in the battle for now 9th place as Chiapelli runs wide, and Owen is through already. That was very nearly contact, and Owen with the DRS can now extend his advantage on the Manxman, and job done. Red Bull is into 9th place. Jollers is running lonely in 8th. Dom running lonely in 7th. James running lonely in 6th. Paul running lonely in 5th. Jamie running lonely in 4th. Matt is right behind Softy. That's what we'd like to see. So the main battle on track at the moment is between the Red Bull, the Toro Rosso and the Renault. And these two are still catching on Phil, who now is just 3.2, and Matt runs very wide through Cops there. He won't want to do that too many more times. As they head towards the hanger straight, Matt once again 8 tenths of a second off of Softy, and it's still not really close enough to be able to make a move, you've got to say. As Phil is getting close to starting his final lap after a strategic masterstroke and a little bit of luck, well, a little bit of luck, a fucking lot of luck has put him in the lead. And you have to say he's done everything right since then, but he's still got a lap to make sure it stays that way. It's going to be no easy last lap. The palms will be sweaty, the knees weak, the arms are heavy. He won't have his mum's spaghetti.
Wow.
Matt then just 6.5 tenths behind Softy onto the Wellington straight. I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move again, and I think it might be all over for his challenge for second unless Softy makes a mistake, because I just don't think Matt has the pace. not quite. And he'll rue that mistake on the first lap, but I tell you what, he's got a lot closer. The gap now, half a second, now 4/10 of a second. Maybe the mistake has happened. Is this Matt's best chance? It's going to be. Through Cops they go, into Maggots. And Matt now just 3 and a bit tenths off the back of the Toro Rosso. This is as close as he's been, and his best chance. Softy on the grass a little bit, he's getting a little bit ragged, and Matt is right where he needs to be, just 2.5 tenths off the back. Softy's covering the inside line. Is Matt going to go for a late move at the inside? He's going to have to try the outside line, but thinks better of it. The points are better than the glory and the bigger trophy. And is he going to try into the last corner? I don't think he can. He's going to try around the outside. Softy run to Mallow Road. And meanwhile, during all this, Phil Bargewell wins the British Grand Prix. Softy comes home second. Matt is in third. So great racing from all three of these guys. A fantastic strategy from Phil gave him the win. Jamie comes home fourth. That's a bit more like it. But I imagine we'll still like a little bit higher result. Paul McGuinness is going to be fifth. James, I don't know if he's made a mistake. He must have done. James comes home sixth. Dom Smith, good result for Dom in the Sauber. It's going to come home in 7th place. So, good hold of points for Sauber there. Johners, the former championship leader. I know he still will be. Somehow. Johners has held on to his championship lead.
Bad. Very bad night.
Owen comes home 9th. Chip Helly in 10th. And that is your British Grand Prix. And that is your of the season. As the drivers get ready to make their way onto the podium then. It's the same podium we had last time out, just in a different order. Where are they? There they are. Phil Bargewell takes his first win of the season. A great result for Phil as he lifts the ever-famous British Grand Prix trophy. The champagne will be sprayed, and for another week, TGP1 is at rest. The drivers have time to rethink, reconsider their strategies and tactics for the next one, as the season is well and truly hotting up. So a rundown of the final order. Phil Bargewell wins after a fantastic strategy gave him the best place to be. Softy comes home in second. Matt in third. Good result for those two. Jamie Day, more like it, in fourth place. Paul in fifth, who was running so much stronger. Unfortunately, the virtual safety car did not help him out. James came home sixth, even after his penalty. Dom Smith in seventh. Johners way down in eighth, but somehow, as we said, still holds on to his championship lead. Owen in ninth after their little tangle. Chip Helly came home 10th. Odems classified 11th, and his teammate classified in 12th. I think maybe it's the way around. And then we had Smokey J's in 13th. And who else raced tonight? Someone else in 14th. So there you go. That's been week number 5. I hope you've enjoyed the first half of the season. We sure have. And we're hoping for plenty much more in the second half. You'll join us out next time, where we are heading to the glorious pause, Canada, for round number 11, as we head to the North American leg of our championship in Canada, followed by America. This has been Sayre Sports. I've been Mike Noon. See you on PS4.